John Wick, the man, the myth, the legend. Let's talk about his movies. Hello guys, J Mary here, and this time I'm gonna give you my ranking of all the John Wick movies. Now with the release of the last John Wick movie, I guess, Chapter 4, I see it as a good time to rank all these movies John Wick has. There are 4 movies, and I'm gonna rank them from my least favorite to my favorite. Because, yeah, I like actually all the John Wick movies. I think John Wick are very excellent action movies. The action is always improved with the new one. Because John Wick actually started very simple with this simple revenge story with the first one, when John Wick just wanted to revenge the death of his puppy and the theft of his car. And then chapter 2 came, they expanded the world more, then chapter 3 there was more action, and then chapter 4 was a 3-hour action epic, and the conclusion of this epic action franchise. So yeah, it's a good time to rank these movies. So let's get to it. Yeah, someone has to be my number 4, the last place, even though they are all great movies. But for my last place, I have to go with the new one, John Wick Chapter 4. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good conclusion to this franchise. It's still a very entertaining movie. All these movies are actually very entertaining. This one is no exception. From start to finish is constant action, very long action sequences, but like I said in my review, if you want to hear all my thoughts, please check out my review. But the negative I had with this movie is that it felt a bit too much. It was also a bit lengthy. The action scenes were very long and sometimes it was a bit exhausting. But nonetheless, still a great action movie. Check it out. Definitely, if you love action movies, this is the movie to watch. But it has to come at my number 4 position. At number 3, we have the original John Wick movie. And like I said, John Wick kicks off this amazing franchise, but back then it was a very simple story. It's a simple revenge story. I like revenge movies, and John Wick was done perfectly. It starts very slow. You know, John Wick, he's mourning about his deceased wife, but he still has the puppy from the wife. But then these Russian youngsters with not much intellect breaks in his house, steals his precious car and kills the puppy. I have to admit, when they kill the puppy, that's a very hard scene to watch for me. Definitely as a dog person. But that's the start of John Wick's rampage. And the action scenes we already have in this movie were very excellent. Something they really improved with movie. But yeah, John Wick, it had some great villains. It's the start of this myth of John Wick. You already see some little things of the world John Wick are living in, like the Continental Hotel, with characters like Winston. So yeah, it's a very entertaining movie, and yeah, it's the start of something amazing. So it's coming at number 3. But I always preferred the sequels more than the original. Because back then, John Wick, the first movie, for me it was just this good revenge story, nothing more. But with chapter 2 and chapter 3, I became this huge John Wick fan. And that's also a bit the problem. Chapter 4 never reached my excitement I had with 2 and 3. So sometimes I think the road to a conclusion is sometimes far more interesting than the conclusion itself. And also chapter 2 and 3, I always was a big fan of chapter 2, that was always my favorite, but with this recent rewatch of the movies, I really like chapter 3. So I was a bit doubting, is chapter 2 still my favorite? Or is chapter 3 my favorite? No, chapter 3 comes at number 2. Chapter 2 is still my favorite. So with chapter 3, like I said, with this rewatch, this recent rewatch, I was very entertained with chapter 3. I think it's based on the action, the best one in the franchise, because we have the most variety of action in this one. We have the gunfighting, but we also have hand-to-hand combat, and also some very entertaining sword fighting. So yeah, I was very entertained with chapter 3 Parabellum. When I first saw this movie, I was still a bit bored in the middle, especially when he goes to Casablanca, but now I actually think Casablanca scenes were very excellent. Like those dog fighting scenes, amazing. So yeah, chapter 3, almost my favorite John Wick, but my favorite John Wick is still chapter 2. Chapter 2, like I said, I was not a fan of John Wick with the first movie, I just thought it was a good revenge story. But when John Wick chapter 2 came, and I saw that movie, I was like, wow, that was amazing. And I also think John Wick is the perfect balance between the story, the plot, and all the action sequences. It was the perfect balance. It was also a very cool plot. John Wick is back in his assassin job, and we see more of this world, this very interesting world of assassins. And we actually see John Wick working as an assassin. Then he gets betrayed, and then he goes to another revenge path. So yeah, very entertaining movie. I really like John Wick Chapter 2, and I still believe it's the best movie in the franchise. So yeah, guys, that was my ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. Always be free to give your ranking in the comments. And if you like this video, please give a like. If you want to see more rankings of mine, please subscribe. And yeah, till the next time.